Have you ever been told your kidney numbers are getting worse? And the very first thing you do is push the meat away from your plate, hoping that by eating less, you're protecting your kidneys. If that sounds familiar, I need you to listen very carefully, because that fear, although completely understandable, may be quietly accelerating the damage you're trying so hard to stop. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and after years of working with middle-aged and older adults across the United States, I've seen this exact moment over and over again. Creatinine goes up, foamy urine appears, nighttime bathroom trips increase, and suddenly people start cutting out protein, skipping meat, living on thin soups and vegetables, believing they're doing the safe thing. But here's the urgent truth. Most people are never told. In many cases, it's not meat that pushes kidneys toward failure. It's the slow, silent muscle loss and malnutrition that follow extreme restriction. And once muscle is lost, once strength and metabolic reserve disappear, the kidneys don't get a second chance. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why avoiding meat altogether can backfire, what kind of protein your kidneys actually need to survive, and how the right choices made calmly and correctly can help stabilize creatinine, reduce nighttime urination, and protect kidney function longer than you may think possible. Because sometimes the difference between decline and control isn't another medication, it's understanding what should stay on your plate and what truly needs to go. For someone with weakened kidneys, the first goal is not to be perfect, it's to be safe. And that's exactly why skinless free-range chicken becomes the most reliable starting point. When kidney function declines, the body struggles to process waste efficiently, so every protein choice matters. Chicken breast without the skin provides clean, highly bioavailable protein that the body can use quickly without overwhelming the kidneys with excess fat, sodium, or inflammatory byproducts. I've seen this play out countless times. One patient in his early 60s came to me exhausted, waking up 3 or 4 times a night to urinate, afraid to eat almost anything with protein. He had cut out meat completely. When we reintroduced a small portion, about 3 ounces of skinless chicken per day, prepared simply, something surprising happened. His energy slowly returned, his nighttime urination decreased, and his lab numbers stopped climbing. Not because chicken healed his kidneys, but because his body finally had the strength to stop breaking itself down. From a scientific standpoint, this makes sense. Muscle breakdown releases additional nitrogen waste into the bloodstream, which kidneys then have to filter. High-quality protein helps preserve muscle mass, reducing that internal waste load. Skinless chicken is also low in saturated fat, which matters because fat-driven inflammation and blood vessel damage are major accelerators of kidney decline. According to clinical nutrition research, patients who maintain lean muscle tend to show more stable creatinine trends over time than those who become protein deficient. The key, however, is preparation and portion control. We're not talking about fried chicken, heavily seasoned marinades, or processed deli cuts. We're talking about gently cooked, lightly seasoned chicken, steam boiled or baked, eaten consistently, not excessively. This kind of protein supports strength, sleep quality, and metabolic balance, all of which indirectly reduce kidney stress. But here's the part most people miss: protein alone is not enough. Because while chicken protects muscle and stabilizes energy, inflammation inside the kidneys can still quietly progress. And that's where the next food choice becomes even more powerful. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next, because what comes after protein may determine whether kidney damage slows down or accelerates without warning. What we just talked about, preserving muscle with clean protein, creates a foundation, but it doesn't solve one of the most dangerous forces silently driving kidney decline: chronic inflammation inside the kidneys and the blood vessels that feed them. This is where small ocean fish quietly change the game. Not as a trend, not as a supplement, but as a biological signal that tells the body to calm inflammation before permanent damage sets in. I remember a woman in her late 50s who did everything right on paper. She ate less meat, avoided salt, drank more water, yet her blood pressure stayed stubbornly high, and her kidney numbers kept drifting in the wrong direction. When we added small servings of sardines and mackerel just twice a week, prepared simply, the shift was subtle but real. Her morning blood pressure readings improved first, then swelling in her ankles eased. The kidneys didn't suddenly recover, but they stopped deteriorating as fast. And sometimes slowing the decline is what preserves independence. Science explains why this matters. Small ocean fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammatory signaling in kidney tissue and help relax blood vessels. Better blood flow means less pressure on delicate filtering units inside the kidneys. Large observational studies have shown that people who consume omega-3 rich fish regularly tend to have lower rates of cardiovascular complications, one of the leading reasons kidney disease worsens. Just as important, small fish contain less mercury than large predatory fish, making them a safer long-term choice for people with compromised detox systems. The solution here isn't excess, it's precision. 1 to 2 small servings per week, gently cooked, lightly seasoned, paired with vegetables. No deep frying, no heavy sauces. When used this way, small ocean fish don't overload the kidneys. They protect the pathways that keep kidneys alive. They reduce silent inflammation, stabilize blood pressure, and support circulation that kidneys desperately depend on. But here's the mistake most people make. They stop here thinking anti-inflammation alone is enough. It's not, because there's another protein people eat almost every day, often without realizing they're choosing the wrong part, that can either support recovery or quietly sabotage everything you've done so far. And that's exactly what we need to talk about next, because this next choice is where many people unknowingly go wrong. After stabilizing muscle with clean protein and calming inflammation with omega-3s, we come to the food people eat most often, yet misunderstand the most. Pork isn't the problem, the part of the pork is. When kidneys are under strain, the difference between pork belly and lean pork loin can be the difference between steady control and silent overload. Lean pork loin offers high-quality protein with minimal fat, making it one of the most practical, everyday options for people who need nourishment without added kidney stress. I once worked with a retired factory worker who had sworn off pork entirely after being told it was too heavy for his kidneys. He felt weaker every month, slept poorly, and relied more on naps than movement. When we replaced processed meats and fatty cuts with modest portions of lean pork, loin steamed or lightly simmered, his appetite normalized, his daytime energy improved, and nighttime bathroom trips gradually dropped. Nothing dramatic, just steady improvement from choosing the right cut. The science behind this is straightforward. Lean pork loin provides complete protein with relatively low saturated fat, which helps avoid lipid-driven inflammation and vascular stress. It's also rich in B vitamins, especially B1 and B6, that support energy metabolism and nerve function. In people with chronic kidney disease, fatigue and sleep disruption are common. Adequate B vitamin intake is associated with better neuromuscular function and reduced feelings of exhaustion. Importantly, when protein is adequate and consistent, the body stops breaking down its own muscle-reducing endogenous waste that kidneys must filter. The solution isn't to eat pork freely, it's to eat it precisely. Choose loin or tender cuts, remove visible fat, keep portions modest, and cook gently. Avoid cured, smoked, or heavily seasoned versions. Pair with vegetables and keep sodium low. Use this way, lean pork loin becomes a quiet stabilizer, supporting strength, appetite, and daily function without pushing creatinine upward. But here's where many people slip. They assume all proteins should be treated the same. They shouldn't, because there's one protein that can restore stamina and correct anemia, but if eaten carelessly, it can do the exact opposite. And that's what we need to address next, because this final choice often decides whether people regain strength or lose it faster than they expect. After correcting daily protein choices and calming inflammation, there's one final piece many people fear and often avoid for the wrong reasons. Lean beef. It has a reputation for being too heavy for weak kidneys. Yet when chosen carefully and eaten with restraint, it can play a decisive role in preserving strength, correcting anemia, and preventing the slow spiral into frailty that accelerates kidney decline. I think of a man in his late 60s who could barely finish a short walk without dizziness. His labs showed mild anemia, and his creatinine had been creeping upward. Out of fear, he had eliminated red meat entirely. When we reintroduced small portions of lean beef just once or twice a week, thinly sliced, gently cooked, his energy changed first. He stood up without lightheadedness. He walked farther. Sleep improved. The kidneys didn't magically heal, but his body stopped collapsing around them. There's solid biology behind this. Lean beef is one of the richest natural sources of heme iron, the form of iron the body absorbs most efficiently. In kidney disease, reduced erythropoietin often leads to anemia, which lowers oxygen delivery to tissues, including the kidneys themselves. Lean beef also provides vitamin B12 and zinc nutrients essential for red blood cell production, immune defense, and muscle maintenance. When anemia improves, circulation improves. When circulation improves, kidneys are spared additional stress. Clinical nutrition data consistently show that correcting anemia and preserving muscle are associated with slower functional decline in chronic kidney disease. The solution here is discipline, not avoidance. Choose lean cuts, only sirloin eye of round-trimmed flank. Keep portions modest, about 2 to 3 ounces. Limit frequency to once or twice per week. Cook gently. Avoid grilling over high heat, heavy marinades, or salty sauces. Used this way, lean beef becomes a targeted tool supporting stamina and independence without pushing creatinine upward. But here's what truly determines whether all of this works or fails. It's not just what protein you eat, but how consistently and intelligently you apply these choices over time. And that final factor, often ignored yet absolutely decisive, can determine whether kidney decline slows or whether dialysis becomes inevitable. Before we finish, I want you to take a breath for a moment, because if there's one thing I hope you've learned today, it's this: having weak kidneys does not mean you've run out of options. It means you need clearer information, calmer choices, and consistency over fear. Small decisions, what you eat, how you prepare it, how regularly you nourish your body, can make a real difference over time. If you're watching this and feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. You don't need to change everything at once. Start with one correct choice, one balanced meal, one habit that supports your strength instead of draining it. Protecting your kidneys isn't about extremes. It's about understanding what truly helps and avoiding what quietly harms. If this video helped you see your kidney health more clearly, I encourage you to save it so you can come back whenever you need a reminder. And consider subscribing to the channel, because here we share practical, evidence-based medical guidance focused on kidney health, explained calmly, honestly, and without unnecessary fear. New videos are added regularly to help you make better decisions, one step at a time. Most importantly, remember, this kidney decline is not just a medical condition, it's a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. With the right knowledge, steady habits, and informed care, many people are able to slow progression, preserve independence, and live fuller lives than they once believed possible. Take care of yourself, take care of your kidneys, and I'll see you in the next video.